Tempo Storm are one game away from defeating Team Freedom. Now, knowing Team Freedom, it's likely they're going to want first pick. So where do you think we'll see Tempo Storm head next?
I mean, I don't really know exactly. I don't feel like I have enough of like what I expect them to be able to pick into. I think above all, it's just going to be the overarching theme of maps where you can concentrate on the map objective over just raw skirmishing, especially with how weak their commitment to team fights have been so far in the series today. Anything around that, like we've seen like maps like Tomb.
When we look at Team Freedom, as we mentioned, there's a lot of newcomers to the Heroes professional scene, but one that stands out who has been around for a long time and provides a lot of experience and knowledge to the team is Collusion. However, Collusion went through a role swap going from warrior for Gusterbust for a long, long time to now being the support play. How do you think that transition has been for him so far?
I think this series specifically, he definitely has performed a lot better than I expected him to. Granted, the performance in week number 1. Moving from a warrior to a support, it's very difficult. I did it in my career. I moved from warrior originally is what I started with competitively, and then I moved into the support. And what I noticed the most is that it's a very weird line of you move in because they have unique mentalities in helping and enabling your team. So when you move to supporters, just keep them alive, enable them to do greatness, but maybe not making plays, being able to confirm kills like we see June or Akaface setting up the roots to enable his team.
Yeah.
Those things, it takes time over long periods of time. So he's doing a very good job so far, keeping everybody alive. I just want to see a bit more playmaking coming out from him. He's setting up the fights. He's baiting people out of position rather than just great incestuals, which, I mean, that's step 1. So at least he got that down.
He does indeed. Here is the Battleground pool again. And Tempo Storm will still be picking the maps. They're going to take us to Towers of Doom, which means that Team Freedom, again, has the first pick. In that loser's pick format, it does allow at least a little bit of leeway to the teams when you've just lost about what truly is going to help us succeed. Is it going somewhere where we have strategies planned, or is it making sure that we can get our top pick? So it's cool to see this change up in format for HGC.
Yeah, my favorite thing from ex-competitor's standpoint would definitely be if you feel like you misinterpreted the meta, you can make up for that in the middle of prioritization. You can go, well, if we don't totally understand it from second pick like we thought, you can take first and then automatically have another pick rotation to be able to make up for whatever that outlier is that you didn't predict to come into play.
Team Freedom are looking at a Zarya ban. And that is something that has been a favorite of Tempo Storm so far throughout HGC, maybe even a little bit more than the rest of NA, but specifically it's one that they picked up a lot on, or more on Shrines, but it is one that has been helping Tempo Storm stay healthy, sustaining through a lot of fights. And if they're wanting to do the same thing where they know that Ragnaros gets banned, then they could have grabbed Task. Tempo Storm changes the playing board with that ban.
So how much hesitation do we see here for Freedom? Are they going to just insta-lock in their favorite, that is the Ragnaros, now that he's been able to make it through the draft? It is one of his weaker-ish maps. He does have great delay for certain shrine spawns, but other than that, he doesn't provide too much in the skirmishing department other than, I mean, his sulfurous smash into his Q is always something to be fearful of. And they go. They lock it in a lot slower than I expected them to if they were going to pick it, but they stick to what they know.
The heroes that in opening week did very well on Towers of Doom, no surprise, are the globals. Brightwing, Dahaka, and Falstad.
Don't you say it.
Gale Force Esports always picking up Brightwing Falstad in this rotation here, as it is also a battleground that they love to pick. But Vala did good too, so there is there's a lot of choices that Tempo Storm could go for here. If they want ETC again, they do not. They want to pick up Artanis and Malfurion, so no globals at all.
Which is allowing Freedom to move into the ETC if they want. I expect that in this rotation. And whatever their next pick is, I want it to be, again, a Li Ming, I think, is what I want to see from them. ETC Li Ming rotation is one of her better maps. Delay, get the reset. Malf struggles into her as a healer. Granted, Artanis is a little bit annoying to deal with, but you can dodge his combo pretty quickly.
Last time at this spot, they picked Brightwing and Tychus.
Well, they don't care. They're just going to Tychus and Dibbles instead.
So they still get the Tychus. And they know that generally Tempo Storm is going to get another warrior to go along with Artanis. So they want to make sure that Tychus isn't one that gets banned versus them. That, or they're maybe looking at another warrior having a very melee-heavy style, and they want to make sure that Tychus isn't a pick for Tempo.
I can't help but, again, wish Not only do I wish it was Li Ming, I just wish it wasn't Tychus in that rotation, and that's not because he's been doing so poorly. It's just into having Artanis with the opportunity to get the blind, you will put a little bit of threat into him, yes, but with Diablo, you want burst follow-up at all points that you can get it. With Ragnaros, for the most part, you want burst follow-up as well. And Tychus doesn't have that unless he moves into the bigger they are. And if you move into bigger they are, then you also struggle in your just raw overall damage output. You're more reliant on your Q. And it's a lot of other risks that, I don't feel that it's like, you know, you need to do that. So we'll see if they can turn it around here.
Calaris. NA, please stop hurting Tassadar win rate. It's time. It drops. Just a little bit, Claris.
The Rhaegar ban. Support chokehold, as always.
What's going to happen here? Do you think they're scared of like a Medivh?
I would be more afraid of ETC.
Tempo?
He's a global, and the Tempo Storm sticks to it, and it just is objectively one of the better warriors in the game. If you don't ban the ETC here, you have a heavy expectation for just a composition that's a direct counter, because I don't see there being any world where Tempo Storm doesn't move in that direction.
They're hovering it. They're considering. I think Freedom probably wants Brightwing, so they're not too hurt by a Rhaegar pick. I don't know though.
I'm not even gonna say negative words about Brightwing. I'll just let it go. Just pick.
Yeah, I will throw you off this desk.
It's just, again, into beefy health bars that exist. It is such a hard hero to be able to, you know, make things work, especially again without the tasks. But we'll find out. We'll see what they do. Tasks Arya are off the table here. Li Ming pick up for Tempo Storm, and where are they going to move? Dahaka is my first thought. Falstad, okay, just sticking to the global route, and then last pick possibly a Dahaka. Freedom have the opportunity to pick up the Dahaka though. It isn't. It's not that their composition doesn't have room for it. You can run the triple melee beef squad. But, oh man. I'm trying to figure out what I would like to see from Freedom now that they have moved in the route of the Tychus. And I don't really know. I do agree with you. I think Brightwing's the support they're going to lean to. They have put higher prioritization on Brightwing than I expected out of most teams here. So, but they do have the comfort. They could move an Ethereal route as well.
The only other support I've seen Collusion play supports Ariel, Lieutenant Morales. Swaps are scary there, so I don't know.
I think it's got to be a Dahaka or Ethereal with this Diablo. Karzim. Zeratul instead. All right, so they're going to have the combo that we saw into the last game, not having the Malfurion, but I like it. They have Ragnaros as a follow-up potential as well. The only problem is that we just watched Tempo Storm have probably some of the easiest heroic follow-ups to avoid out of any hero in the game and struggle with it, versus now we see Team Freedom moving into it. Sulfura Smash is a lot harder to be able to make work properly. And then they do have the Diablo Apocalypse, which is pretty forgiving, to be honest, when it comes to that combo.
Here's this last pick for Tempo Storm, going to be almost certainly it's Fury's hero of choice. You think it's going to be
I think so.
Yeah, you know what? They do, way back when he was playing for Gale Force Esports, they popularized the Dahaka plus Li Ming with drag into Disintegrate. And you just have to eat the full Disintegrate because Dahaka's just holding you there with the drag. They have Roots too as a follow-up, swaps afterward.
Or Johanna. Interesting choice. Another blind into a melee-heavy composition. Ragnaros, Tychus, Karazim, Zeratul. Every single one of those. Even, you know what, put it on top. Diablo, I don't know if this is a true fact currently since his adjustments, but in the past actually had the highest auto attack damage out of any hero in the game, too. It's really underestimated. A Diablo with auto attack speed, it's insane. So every one of them thrives with auto attacks. Diablo, not as much as the rest. And now they have a double blind setup.
That is nice. It's also a comfort for Fury to be on Johanna. He has historically been one who would prefer to play her maybe over some other warrior players, except maybe like Srey. But in general, it's one that Fury feels confident on.
Yeah, it's also going to be a lot harder to get, the Zeratul Wombo combo onto him with the ability to pop his Iron Skin instantly when it drops. So it has to be frame perfect on the side of Freedom to be able to hit him. Li Ming has got her teleport very quick. Barrel roll is a slow animation, so it's actually possible to get that interrupted if it's not frame perfect. I'm trying to figure out who else do we got. Artanis, he should be okay.
But Gust will help with that too. If they see Zeratul, Insomnia moving in, they can always just Gust away or Gust someone else away. If Falstad's the one not in it, then he can Gust the rest of the team away. Something so that you sometimes see with Jaina is that you throw Jaina away so that you just can't Ring of Frost after it's over.
Yeah.
But Diablo, you can't do that. He can do that from anywhere.
Yeah, he just got the global heroic.
Yeah, I guess with Sulfurous Smash, maybe try at least to keep that one from going down.
Yeah, the main kill targets is always got to be the support is always one you want to be looking towards. And then any of the backline that's going to be vulnerable, I think Falstad for me will be the one who stands out a little bit more onto his own and also is just flat up vulnerable. Again, barrel roll is a pretty quick escape, but it's not fast enough to really dodge that. So Zeratul plus the support, and then worrying about just getting the combo as fast as possible.
Let's see if they can do it and take us to game number 5. We're heading into Towers of Doom. We'll see you inside.
This series was surprisingly a European flavor, at least on the side of Freedom, when it comes to their draft. Seeing the Zeratul, seeing the Ragnaros paired, seeing Diablo have the threat that he has. So we'll see if they make it work.
Why not look at what Europe is doing? Because they have very strong teams. Misfit just came out of the blocks with the Void Prison and Sulfurous Smash combination, and it worked very well. Freedom are in a position that I believe even though they had all sorts of confidence, they didn't believe that they would be in, which is that they are absolutely in this series. They're down one game, but they won the first one, and every other game has been a battle, a true battle for Tempo Storm to win.
It is legitimately come down to this is the fight where one team's going to pull ahead, and yes, the last two Tempo Storm has won that fight. It doesn't mean that it has not been close. There's a lot of opportunity available here for Freedom, and this could be their last game to really be able to show it.
And it sets up a good precedence for Team Freedom going into the rest of this weekend. They have sort of the same issue, in fact the exact same issue that Navintic had in the last weekend, which is that, swap, blink. They were up against Tempo Storm and then had to go up against Gale Force Esports. That's what Freedom has to look forward to this weekend. So coming out and doing a great job versus Tempo Storm, taking some games off, getting some experience, would set them up nicely for that series as well.
See how this works out. The teams seem to be running a 2-1-2 for the most part with, just making sure that there's no overcommitment of resources to any specific lane, none feeling like they have an advantage anywhere. It's probably, if anybody gains an advantage in that sense, it would be Tempo Storm purely on if you have Zeratul on your team, you should be looking for that, and Tempo's playing it safe enough to where they're not risking anything, but now we got the Shrines up. We have the threat of the Global that comes from the Falstad, and we have to be considering the Zeratul rotation here. This is where the fight is going to break out.
Realizing that there's no Tassadar and Brightwing to help Tempo Storm with vision, Malfurion has picked up Scouting Drone just to make sure that they have some ways of spotting out if Insomnia comes in. Stomp jumping in, gets a beautiful swap on to Zugrug right into the base. There's no getting out of it. The towers are not down at this point. And as you can see, we didn't even need to see Diablo's going to get taken out just as this phase starts. Yeah,
Insomnia is under pressure as well. The channel there, Cawthon will confirm this, and Ragnaros' lack of commitment in that rotation might cost him. Actually, Falstad doesn't go over to buy that delay, is willing to be able to keep the pressure in the mid lane. Can't help feel like Tempo Storm maybe had a bit more to be able to fight off after that Diablo pick. Either way, Tempo Storm confirms the shots here. We'll be up at 4 shots rotation. But Psalm here showing why they first picked Artanis, at least so far, some of the more successful swaps that we've seen.
Yeah, he'll be building up into that later on too, maybe going for Graviton Vortex at 13, and then they can look for double swaps. Team Freedom picking up their sappers in the bottom lane too, trying to put some pressure on of their own, but up in the top, Artanis and Falstad have been more focused on getting the top sappers, so whatever they can do to keep Ragnaros from being as successful in this lane, and realizing that most of the time teams look at that bottom lane as the place where they want to siege up. So just keeping Team Freedom on their toes at all times.
Yeah, and now we see Zeratul hasn't made that transition down here. Maybe going to harass a bit on the side of Tempo Storm here. But a lot of this is just going to be very macro-oriented play for these teams, worried about, you know, manipulating the map into their best interests. I can't help feel like that is against Team Freedom's, you know, priority, what they want to make happen in this game. But again, without 10s and Tempo Storm's not really giving any area for Zeratul or Diablo to make a rotation and be able to confirm a kill.
Let's talk about some of the talents while we have a little bit of time. Falstad's going into Season Marksman build with Hammer Gains 2, so maybe following up with Secret Weapon. Sometimes it's still Boomerang at level 7. There's some different choices there, but probably Giant Killer 2 at 13. Maybe. It just depends. I know it's hard to give up the Tailwind talent there. But definitely trying to build up those stacks, so we'll make sure to keep you informed. He's about a third of the way done by this point there.
Other than that, everything seems to be very standard, if you will, across the board. Minus that we did see in the rhythm was a choice for Tychus. We talked about how he had the opportunity to maybe do something else into the Artanis matchup.
Now later on, if he can consistently build up those stacks, then he'll have minigun for a long time, and that might be a way of trying to shred down some of the health bars of one of those two tanky frontliners.
If he's not blinded the first or the second time.
Yeah, that is true. Ultra phase happening in the bottom. Both teams level 7. Starting to shark around, throwing out poke until somebody can get out of position. Zugrug's trying to see if maybe he can get a overpower and shadow charge somebody back. He's set up in a great place to where if he gets that, he can run them right into the house, making sure to get the stun. But Fury and the rest of Tempo Storm making sure that they don't let themselves get into that position.
Yeah, and there might be a swap if they mess up here, as there's a combo. It hits onto Insomnia. The root is there too. Beautiful. The 1-2 wombo there. Tempo Storm's going to be able to pick up the kill, and now they are looking for more. Nasmus does manage to get the retreat. A lot of harass going on to Cawthon, but we'll see if Tempo Storm can pick up that channel.
Rest of Tempo Storm again looking for a swap. June following up with Entangling Roots, even if the swap didn't connect. So something, again, sort of akin to a Stitches combo, where you just have them just in case the hook does land.
So pretty. That combo was by far one of the most appealing we've seen so far here in HGC North America. But now, again, we have to keep in mind, Team Freedom's composition doesn't take off till 10. There's a reason they've been so patient. They are worried about the synergies within their heroics and be able to snowball the game in their favor in that sense there. There are a lot of people, if Malfurion and Falstad, those are going to be the main targets. If they can get those into the void, if they can make that combo happen, that is where Freedom really can kind of thrive.
Man, Fury is building as tanky as he can get. He got reinforced for some block stacks. Makes sense. There's a lot of auto attackers on Team Freedom. Laws of Hope to increase health regeneration. Swap. Hits Insomnia. Cawthon, though, is low in the back, and so it ends up costing Cawthon his life. He probably would have died anyway, though. Nasmus was on the hunt for fried chicken, but still no kill for Tempo Storm, and that ties up experience, even putting Freedom closer to heroic abilities, especially with the tower kill.
And there they are. They're going to pick it up. Seven-sided strike was the decision there for Team Freedom rather than having Palm. All right, that just means, all that means is that now Freedom is committed. If you thought they had a Wombo comp before, they just solidified that that is the only win condition they are looking for. A combo into an initiated kill in the isolation. That is Zeratul with seven-sided strike is something that's happened in the past, yes. Oh man, that combo that is going to be going down. And the blind as well. My goodness, Gilly, the swap ends up landing.
That is so frustrating to lose Zeratul at the start of this. Silence has hit Nasmus. He turned around, Sulfurous Smash, slowing everybody from Tempo Storm down. Tempo Storm a little bit split on who they wanted to focus in that fight, and that allowed the rest of Team Freedom to get away. Unfortunately for Freedom,
Delay.
5 more seconds until there is Zeratul, but this will help.
Should be able to secure the amount of time there. Long enough for Zeratul to make that transition. Either way, what I was going to say is having the seven-sided strike picked up means that they are committing fully to getting those kills, and if they don't, they accept the fact that their team fight pretty much no longer is going to be existent. Having Palm is enough to be able to buy a little bit of time if things don't look that great off initiation, but seven-sided is fully committing to it.
Well, Sulfurous Smash may be down, but Void Prison, APOC, seven-sided strike, Odin Nightmare is still an absolute possibility for Team Freedom. Should Zeratul find the right spot, Insomnia is looking for that. There goes Zugrug, jumps on top of Cattle, but he has teleport. That's the Void Prison they might need. Apocalypse to follow will hit. A great gust, though, to bail out all of the members of Tempo Storm.
Yeah, it will bail them out, and the 7-sided strike was not used during that time. Health bars seem to be relatively low, but Malfurion and June there on the side of Tempo Storm will be able to pick them up over time, whereas Karazim is the only one available. Swap hit. Zugrug is in a tough spot, and he is going to be sent right back to hell there. 7-sided strike was used. A lot of damage, though. Psalm is eating the harass there from Dansky. Kato's on the retreat. Collusion's going to punch it to death. Fury had the blind, but it was a bit too late. So suddenly what seems like a very convincing fight for Tempo Storm managed to turn around, and these shots are picked up for Freedom. What is it? I got to hear it.
I'm just confused how they were able to do that, but it was great from Freedom to find that they could still dish out that punishment despite losing Diablo, the Wombo not working out as planned, not having Falstad inside. This shows why Team Freedom are here in the round of 8. They're still able to make those decisions. They don't fall apart even when things initially don't go right.
Yeah, it's very much true. And like I was talking about, the main priority targets are going to be Falstad and the Malfurion. Falstad's probably a little bit more important in the sense that he can just make sure none of that really works out the way that you wanted to there. But very well done from Cawthon so far. But again, this is a longer game, a longer map, which allows for a lot of opportunities for Zeratul combo to come into play. And we'll see if they all work in the same manner that that last one did.
I liked Cawthon's mindset there. He was like, okay, I'm just sitting on the minions. Wait a second. Where's Ragnaros? Where's Zeratul? And you just see him immediately move back. And they were coming from him. Good map sense there from Cawthon on Tempo Storm, and they haven't given up Cawthon. He didn't have to use Gust, so nothing forced from that. They will lose the sappers on the top. They have towers still that they can run into. And in the bottom, everyone's starting to move in.
Yeah, it's a heavy rotation here. Tempo Storm is going to be a bit behind with the Falstad. Zeratul has Void, and this might be the situation he looks to get that flank, but keep in mind, Falstad won't be there. The swap attempt is not used. Psalm did not use the Z in that scenario, so he'll have it up a little bit quicker. Falstad is committing to the clear, whereas Freedom is committing to theirs down here below onto these sappers. 2 more shrines are now going to be spawning. I do expect for an invade here on the side of Freedom, rather than taking that passive trade.
Yeah, Freedom are behind in core health, but not too much so that they have to start making completely risky decisions. If they have to trade out here, if they lose one person, anything like that, they can still move back. They're going to put Karazim to pick up early on and then allow the rest of Freedom to move over, but somebody is going to have to stop June from channeling if they want to play it that way. Looks like they don't. They're just going to trade.
They are going to be willing to take this trade. I'm trying to figure out if I think a team has a 16 power spike that's stronger than the other enough to justify waiting for that. As I say that, though, a 2-man combo comes out. Odin's going to be used. Void ends up hitting here only onto one target, but Dansky does survive. There's the Apoc Sulfura smash, and Psalm is going to be just fine as 7-sided strike comes in. He ends up going down after the Twilight Dream.
Twilight Dream hit all of Team Freedom, but they are perfectly fine to continue fighting and kill June as well. The Wombo went much better for Freedom that time then. You're just standing there with your mouth open. What is...
I don't know how that worked out exactly. Like, I obviously saw the spells in the order, but Psalm's health bar dropped significantly. Did somebody like walk out of the 7 and let him get isolated? Either way, he had a huge spike there after the initial shielding. That was not enough, and they were able to get those kills onto June as well. So very well done. I mean, the APOC combo coming into play, and Team Freedom definitely running it far smoother and cleaner than Tempo Storm. They go on to Fury, forcing the blind out from Psalm. Bottom fort is now going to be going here, and 16 is not going to be picked up quite yet.
Swap. There's swap on Nasmus. Everyone else jumping in too. That's going to be a kill. Counter kill on Ragnaros just in time too, because Team Freedom are almost to level 16. Gust pushes Zugrug back, but not in a way that Tempo Storm can do too much to jump on it. Here's once again going to be a swap. Puts Psalm out in the middle of the Team Freedom, but Cawthon flanks from the side. We'll get another kill. Karazim goes down too, and just like that, Tempo Storm are turning things around.
Yeah, and Insomnia backed out there to his own forward. Zugrug is going to be going down here in a matter of seconds. The shrine spawning. Diablo will be up in time. Karazim will be 5 seconds late after they end up spawning. There's going to be 3 up here with the global 2. Tempo Storm is in a very pretty spot here with a pretty big advantage as long as they manage to pick up the 16. Zeratul needs to make the rotation to the upper right with one other target and hopefully get a pick on the Falstad or anybody else who might be isolated because it is unrealistic that they're going to be able to get 2 without a pick.
I agree with Yoda. The swaps have been amazing. Void Prison goes down. Apocalypse to follow. Sulfurous Smash goes down, but June survived out of it. Falstad did not. Insomnia came around to the side to at least get 1 kill on Falstad.
That was a huge ice block. Otherwise, June was going to be going down here as well. But the combo has been pretty successful so far. 4 shots now have been channeled. That's the top right. Top left is being channeled already by Karazim. Tempo Storm now seems to be onto the retreat as Boss has been feign started. A shout out to Insomnia, dude. That guy auto-attacks Boss more than any other player I've ever seen in my entire life. Every time he's by himself. Are we doing Boss, guys? Team? Anybody coming? No? All right, we aren't doing Boss. Not today. Seriously, that's what he does every time.
He's ready.
He is ready to
start
go.
First team swap.
Swap. Not going to land there. But I can't help but, you know, take a minute to appreciate the fact that Team Freedom very clearly has a better grasp of the Diablo-Zeratul combo than we saw from Tempo Storm in the last game.
And
things are working out. People are dying when the green bubble drops.
That is always nice. It's a nice way for things to go. They've been ahead, too. They're ahead in core health now, pretty significantly. 11, if I can do my caster math at all.
Team?
Looking at Boss.
Now you want to do Boss. When everybody manages to spawn is the time that they're going to risk this Boss. They all make the rotation. 3 are committed to bottom with the Sappers.
Suppression Pool sees it. What do they do now? Are we going to run away?
Malphly, Ming, and Johanna are nowhere near. I don't think so they have anything to worry about. They don't have APOC. They don't have Void. Only Sulfurous Smash. Swap comes in. Doesn't land. Dodge. 7-sided was able
Just in case, you know?
Hey, you know, I'll take that for 4 shots. A heroic for nothing. Insomnia's in a bad spot, though. Sulfurous Smash. The swap. He's going to be going down there. Very well done. And that is a pick for Tempo Storm, but their core health sits at 9, whereas Team Freedom's is at a healthy 24.
It was worth, too. Insomnia didn't panic Void.
Yes.
So the minute that he's back up,
because their
boom,
comp is
we have a combo again.
We see that time and time again. Zeratul players, especially in Void comps, you are your team setup. Just die. It's okay. Your cooldown's 100 seconds. Your death timer's 40. Let it go, boys. And he did exactly that. Very controlled, calculated thought. Yes, it will forfeit quite a bit for his team. 2-shot rotations, most likely. But in the end, they still have an opportunity, a team fight, where they're not like, well, we're down a Void and we have nothing to do for 100 seconds.
Ragnaros is going to delay as long as he can. It won't help with the bottom shrine, but at least it will help with the altar here in the mid. Doesn't have to worry about all of the shots going in, and that's really nice for Team Freedom because even though they're ahead in core health, Tempo Storm control 5 of the bell towers. It's a lot more shots going in. Yeah, and there's the respect for the Ragnaros and his delay potential in that mid lane. Insomnia has shown himself a huge amount of harass, though. Ends up hitting him. That is not what you want if you are going to be the Zeratul player there, to get rid of that scouting drone. And Tempo Storm lays another one here, so a lot of risky positioning for Insomnia. You see him trying to get rid of it, but he just can't quite move in. He needs to approach from a different angle if he's going to have any success, as he panic voids, and that's only going to be on 1. It's only on Arcana. Sulfurous Smash kind of hits the back. Gust has gone down, and a swap hits into Nasmus. Everything is in chaos. Apocalypse hits. Diablo will be the second to fall. Tempo Storm has found their opening. Very well done. The Blessed Shield coming out from Fury was single-handedly really the reason why that team fight did not get ugly after the Void ended up landing, crippling Diablo to not be able to use it in time. Gust came out directly after that, and now Tempo Storm has picked up more shots here. Sappers as well going to be moving through bottom, as Core is sitting 11 to 9, 19 picked up here for Tempo Storm. They're closing in on 20. Freedom's got to figure something out, because the combo's not looking as pretty as it did in the first part of this game, but Tempo is doing a much better job at stopping it. Yeah, and throwing down scouting drones has helped make sure, especially in that positioning, it was hard for Insomnia to ever find a spot. All he could really do maybe is go all the way around, and that would have taken so long. Well, see, one thing that I think he's underestimating in this game is the second time he could have done it is when you see him drop one thing we haven't seen June ever really do is put one behind him. And this is one of the few maps where you can actually flank with Zeratul behind your opponents. Just move through the mid fort, through the bell tower, anything that's lost a sidewall. You move through and you just teleport over, wait, get your mount up, re-stealth, and then look for that initiation from an angle they never expected. That being said, it's very high risk, because if they find you, you are either panic voiding or you're just dead. Yeah, opposite side of your opponent's team from your team. While we have been having this discussion, Tempo Storm have been escorting in Sappers. Not sure if they'll be able to get the next 3, though. Good Meteor to stall out a lot of the damage. Collusion standing there to tank. And all 3 of these sappers have been taken out. But what that did do for Tempo Storm is buy time. They're still in control of 5 of the bell towers. And now Team Freedom have some tough decisions to make around this next altar phase.
Yeah, they're within lethal range, and a lot of it's going to be heavy commitment there. So Falstead needs to stick with Malfurion to be able to reveal the Zeratul as best as possible, and he is the most safe to be able to mitigate this. We see 2 scouting drones already down. You expect Insomnia and Team Freedom to try and raid those as fast as possible. Dansky gets rid of 1, so Insomnia only ends up hitting the Li Ming here, Gilly.
Suppression Pulse has gone down 2, and again, Fury does such a good job of stalling out the members of Team Freedom, but Psalm falling in health, uses Blade Dash to stall and buy time, but he won't do it long enough. He'll be the first takedown in this fight. Fury running away. All the while, though, the bottom altar was picked up for Tempo Storm, so now Team Freedom are only at 3 core health. They will stay alive for now.
Yeah, 3 more shots moving in. And that team fight, even being down 20, granted it was for 5 versus 4, Psalm was able to fall here, so Team Freedom has another moment. Sappers in bottom lane has got to be in their concern, though, considering the fact that that is a huge win condition option with Falstead on this map. All it takes is 1 gust, and you have no ability to stop those from moving in past the wall of death there.
Insomnia was pushing the top lane, too. That's starting to get low in health for Tempo Storm, but this game is heating up. We've got 3 core health to 6 for Tempo Storm. Every game between these 2 teams has
collusion? Oh, that was so scary.
That's scary.
Oh my goodness, they didn't even feign to get anything there. They were just like, if anybody makes a bad rotation, we're gonna go.
He's shown.
Yeah, there's no way.
Tempo Storm are going up.
Void isn't up for 18. He just uses his rewind. He's gotta be going down. Huge root there is gonna confirm it, and the panic response for Freedom as they're coming up to try and save him. Sappers are pushing on bottom, but that is not nearly as much. The Bolt used to dodge the combo on the side of Psalm that would not have hit in the first place.
There is a boss here.
There is a pretty boss, and Void is not up. The swap is going to come in. APOC is not going to be able to go off, though, Gilly.
Twilight Dream silenced Diablo to stop him from the APOC, and just like that, Diablo's taken out. Collusion almost goes down. Radiant dashes away. It's a 1-for-1 in this, but still, remember, Freedom are fighting without their Zeratul, and yet Team Freedom staying alive.
Team Freedom surviving that fight after everything looked terrible. Now 2 shrines spawn. Zeratul's not going to be up, so they have to be able to defend this, because if they end up losing 1, it's going to be lethal here so far into this game. Not even. But they've turned the bell towers.
They have the bell tower up in top.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
that was Zeratul. That's
what he died getting. That was to take over.
It's not lethal.
Did he get heroic difficulty?
Oh,
he got submerged.
My goodness. All right, so how's this going to go? 3 core health here. Shots only available are going to be 3-5 on the other side. Collusion tries the channel. I don't even have words for how this thing has gotten.
Spicy Swaps is the name of this game. I love it. Okay, that's it. That is it for Molten Core.
All right, so Molten Core is down, but Diablo is not.
Tekken Apocalypse.
But June?
From way far away.
There's a scouting drone. There's no way he can get this without dying. Insomnia's already delayed once. There's the APOC.
APOC.
He got it. They got the Void. That's a 2-man Void, but there's no follow-up.
Okay, here we go. So Fear Smash did go down. 7-sided strike as well.
Diablo's
Here comes the turn. Diablo's back in the fight. Cawthon is low. Hellgate! Zugrub jumps in with Hellgate. Throws over. The stun! He's gonna take out some!
Now we see Fury's on the retreat. He does have his indestructible. That's a big 3-man condemn the channel from Insomnia. The delay, the fight. He is gonna be getting the kill, but that's a 5-man Twilight Dream. 2-for-1. Tempo Storm has the lead. Everybody's health bars for Freedom are low, but Cawthon gets flipped, and he is gonna be 1 dead bird. Fury is left. He will have the shield, but I don't think it's going to matter because June moved to mid and tap. Team Freedom somehow, some way, might be able to turn this game as June is the last man standing. What?
How?
What?
How did they do it? 3-man defense. Molten Core. They didn't even have heroic difficulty for the increased duration.
I don't even know. That was beautiful play. Absolutely phenomenal play coming out from Freedom across the board. Just the delay, the stall tactics, the synergy within the heroics, even when Diablo's APOC wasn't there. So Fear Smash, perfect timing. Force the cleanse coming out from June. So they did a far better job. The synergy coming out from these guys, I mean, I'm impressed. I'm without words, really, almost. It's
Well, we have to take a break, so we'll gather the words, and then when we come back, we can talk more about